Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Britt B. Steele, and I am here in my kitchen in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I'm here to share with you a program that is near and dear to my heart. And this is just a teaser of that program. So I'm sharing with you a little bit of what we do in Pilgrim, which is living your yoga every single day. It doesn't even matter if you own a yoga mat or if you practice yoga, you can get so much out of Pilgrim. And we start together on September 23rd. So I tell you all of that very transparently because I'm here today to share with you little bits and pieces of what Pilgrim is about. And then I'm going to play in the kitchen with you for a little bit. So we won't be here super long. We'll be here somewhere around 45 minutes or less. I just want to share with you some of the pieces that move me deeply and have moved now upwards of thousands of people over the last 10 years. So Pilgrim has been going strong for 10 years, and this is our 10th year running. It's hard to believe. Anyway, so I'm Britt B. Steele, and you can learn all about me and get lots of free stuff from me at brittbsteele.com. There's meditations and yoga practices and cookbooks and all sorts of things that you can get your paws on for nothing at all except for an open heart and a willingness to learn. So that being said, today I want to focus on the Trinity of Health. Now, the Trinity of Health is three primary pieces. It is meditation, movement, and clean eating. So those are the 3 points of focus that we're going to turn our attention to. Meditation, movement, and clean eating. So as we look at life as a whole, as we look at what is going on in this world at this time, we know that life is challenging. We know that there are dark forces at play, there are light forces at play, there's a lot of disintegration, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of addiction and the use of uppers and downers and stimulants and depressants and sleep aids and energy drinks and all sorts of things. And so I just want to reel us back as if we are back 100, 200, 300 years ago and look at what is it that we can focus our attention on that's going to help us. And I come down to these three things. And these three things come in and through the ancient yogic teachings, and they are food as medicine, stillness, meditation, prayer, call it what you will, connection to something greater than yourself, and then movement of your body. In fact, the yoga poses many, many years ago only came to be as a way in which to control and to calm the body so that we would have a much greater opportunity to find ourselves in union with God as we know it. So this is not a religious thing. This is essentially just saying that there's something bigger than me. Something brought me here and it wasn't me. And something's going to take me out and I don't really have a lot to say about it. In other words, I don't get to choose the day and time. Something else is going to choose that. So whatever that something else is, as my teacher says, the big zucchini in the sky, let's go with it. But meditation, movement, and clean eating help us purify this vessel, which is one of the 12 touchstones of Pilgrim, help us purify this vessel so that we can be in clear and great connection with ourselves, others in the world, so that what you've come here to do and what you've come here to share actually provides for you a really profound platform and foundation so that you get to share your dharma. You get to share what you came here for. You get to share goodness in your life and in the world. So that's our focus. Meditation, movement, and clean eating. So I'm just going to speak a little bit about each of these and then we're going to go straight to the kitchen. How about that? So meditation. Meditation is listening. It's sitting quietly. It's being in a place and space when you close the door to the outside world. I love early mornings because nothing is awake yet. There's no one sending me messages. There's no one asking me for something. I can come to my meditation mat. I can come to my seat. It can be on the floor. It can be on the couch if it needs to be. If my body doesn't allow for me to sit on the floor, don't you worry about it. Sit quietly and listen. That's what meditation is essentially. It's a way in which for us to drop into the center of our very own hearts so we can hear what is wanting to come through us. Your body is never going to lie to you. It's never, ever going to tell you that you are doing something that it shouldn't be doing unless you shouldn't be doing it. As if to say, hola, Cynthia, as if to say, your body is always, always, always going to tell you the truth. If you have a headache, it's telling you the truth. If you get diagnosed with cancer, it's telling you a truth. If you have a tummy ache, it's telling you a truth. If you're really, really tired and you can't keep your eyes open, it's telling you the truth. If you have eczema, it's telling you the truth. So I'm here to say that in all ways you are learning and you are expressing and you are receiving so many beautiful messages from your body all the time. And meditation allows for you to listen. That's what it's there for. Above all, it is there for you to be able to close out the outside world, because you're going to hear 1,000 messages from the outside world, and for you to drop in and say, okay, my body is telling me something. And one of you who are here had an experience that taught me great wisdom about this. I'm going to say 12, 15 years ago. One of you, and I won't call you out, had a health crisis. And I remember very specifically that you were this could be any one of us, right? Very active in your community, helping other people find their healing path, supporting other people every step along the way. And what happened? You had a health crisis. And I remember your mouth got quiet, your body got quiet, you created an energetic bubble between yourself and other people. You literally said to yourself, in yourself and through yourself, I'm going to close the doors and I'm going to let my life be a meditation, because my body is telling me something. And if I don't deal with it, I'm going to be in a world of hurt. And I witnessed you do that. And I learned from that slowly and steadily. And then in this past year, where I was diagnosed with the breast cancer and I went through cancer treatment, I've realized that this is an imperative part of the healing journey of every individual on this planet and of the healer's journey. We must take time to listen. We must be willing to step outside of what the world is asking of us, and find our way back to our hearts and listen closely. Because the only way that we are truly going to be able to share our greatest gifts with the world is if we are listening within. So that's what meditation is all about. And Pilgrim is packed full of that. There are meditations for 108 days if you want them, and they're 10 minutes or less. There are meditations on gratitude. There are meditations on presence. There are meditation on letting go. There's meditations on releasing what we no longer need. There's meditation on being open. And they're all just these little 10 minutes or less little meditations, and that's part of Pilgrim. Movement. Your body is a vessel, and it holds lots of stuff that we need to be clearing the clutter on a regular basis. Have you ever noticed that in your body and in your life, when you are uncertain about something, you disconnect from your body? Have you noticed that when you are scared, you constrict in your body? Have you noticed when you don't want to face something, you disconnect from your body? Movement gets us back into the body. It clears the clutter. It allows for us to clean out the fuzz, if you will, right? The stickiness, the swampiness that slowly and steadily just arises in our bodies and in our lives. So we use movement, and in Pilgrim, we use dance, we use going for walks, we use yoga practices that are 25 minutes or less, right? They're just these short little yoga practices focusing on strength and on flexibility and on agility, being grounded, being fluid, all of these things. And it's all part of Pilgrim. So just remember, you can come to this. And I'll tell you more about it. So movement. We gotta be moving in these bodies. They're not designed to be stagnant, and they don't do us any good when they are stagnant, right? So we must indeed hold close to our heart what it is that we need, how it is that we must move our bodies to clear out the stagnancy, the stickiness, the funkiness every single day. Doesn't mean you have to go for a run. Doesn't mean you have to go to the gym. Not at all. You just need to move your body This is a vehicle. We need to take care of this vehicle, period. It's the only way that we find our way back into our wholeness. And it's the only way that you're going to be able to give yourself in all of your glory to this world. You're just simply not going to be able to do it otherwise. You're not going to have anything to give. You're going to be all stagnant and stuck and swampy, and it just happens. The world does that, right? It's just the nature of it. If I don't clean my kitchen for a long period of time, there's going to be some filth that builds up. That happens inside of me too, and it's not a moralistic thing. It's just the nature of this material world, right? So that's movement. So you got meditation, you got movement, and now we're going to talk clean eating. So clean eating is about how I keep this vessel really pure. How is it that I receive goodness in my body, right? And in the ancient yogic tradition, it was through Ayurveda. How do I eat seasonally? How do I eat in a way that supports my constitution, right? Am I earthy and grounded and have a tendency to be stuck and to get heavy and to put weight on and to feel stagnant and to get depressed? Or let's just go to the opposite side of that. Do I have the propensity to be ungrounded and not sleep well at night and have achy joints and not be able to finish projects or start projects, and I'm scattered? So our food helps us purify this vessel, another one of our touchstones, right, in Pilgrim. It helps us purify this vessel so that we can take good care of ourselves, so that therefore I can take good care of others and the world. That's what we're here for. We're here to love, we're here to live, we're here to enjoy ourselves, we're here to celebrate, we're here to do good things, we're here to help other people, we're here to remember who we are and who we are not, all of it, right? So these are the three things. This is the Trinity of Health: movement, meditation, and clean eating. So there it is. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit in the kitchen. You ready? Ready for that? All right, I just got done teaching yoga church, so I'm kind of all foofy, but I'm just gonna jump right on in here. All right, so whoop, that's my squeaky stool. So here is my kitchen, and I'm gonna share a few things with you today that really came to me yesterday as I was thinking, gosh, I have this cooking class tomorrow. I wanna share food with you. What am I gonna do? So this is a super, super simple vegan option for you. If you're not vegan, don't worry about it. You can do vegetarian. If you're not vegetarian, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you ways in which that you can change it out. But this is almost everything that I have here came from Trader Joe's, not entirely. I have some sprouted tofu that I've marinated, and I marinated it in a dressing that you get in Pilgrim. It's a vinaigrette that I use. It's vinegar, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, first cold pressed olive oil, always first cold pressed olive oil, maple syrup, salt, pepper, and garlic. Now that's not Ayurvedic. We tend to not do a lot of garlic and onion, but it also, there's a lot of health benefits to it. So just as Pilgrim is not exclusively hardcore Vedanta, it's instead helping us focus on how we eat well, how we take good care of ourselves, and how we share the goodness that we can cultivate within ourselves with others. So let me tell you what I got here, and we're going to keep going. So I've got some marinated sprouted tofu that I'm going to stir fry up or saute. I have arugula, organic arugula. This is, there's a lot of bitters in this, which I love as well. And when there's a lot of bitter in it, that helps with digestion, helps also to pacify when in balance, extra fire in our body. I have some polenta, ancient harvest polenta, which is, it's a traditional Italian corn. And it's a very pure, moderate glycemic index, but we don't have a lot of sweetness and other things here. And then I also have, I kept this in the package because I wanted you to see, these are some rainbow microgreens. So much of what I got at Trader Joe's yesterday. And so this is a really quick fix. So these guys are like rabbity foods. I'm going to add them to the greens, microgreens, and that's it. We're just going to have a nice bowl of greens here. So here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do this. Super simple. I'm going to go ahead and open my polenta. I'm going to cut the end off of this. All right, there's a lot of water. It's okay. Grab a scissors. So, super simple. I already have my oven on. All right. I'm going to open up this polenta. It's just a roll of like pressed corn. I'm going to go ahead and cut it into, I'm going to cut the end off, and then I'm going to cut it into wedges that are a little bit more than an inch. You can see that. So they're pretty thick. They're pretty thick. So I've got 2, 3, 4. I could do, 5, 6 of them. I do that. I'm just going to cut the end off of this like that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, grab a spoon. I'm going to scoop out the center of this. So I'm going to make a little boat. All I'm doing is just scooping out the center like this. That's it. Just a little tiny boat. I'm not a professional kitchen videographer, so therefore I'm like reaching across the room to show you what I'm doing. But I'm just scooping out the center. You see that? I'm just scooping out the center of the polenta so that I can have a little boat, little polenta boat. Super simple. Now I can keep this extra polenta and I can mix it with extra sauce when I get to that, if I so choose. But for now, I'm just going to do this as such. I'm going to grab a cookie sheet. Now, what I'm going to do here, super simple. I'm just going to set these on here. Two rolls of polenta. I could do this. I can do it as a side dish if I want to. Right? So I have 6 of these, 6 little boats of polenta. Right? Okay. Now, I am going to turn on my burner and I'm going to saute my tofu. So that has the vinaigrette dressing that we get in Pilgrim in it. And let me go ahead and move this out of the way. Right now. And now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have 2 pans going over here on the stove, which is right over there. I got to learn how to figure out these videos, do a better job with these videos, but for right now, it's what we got. So I'm sauteing the tofu and I'm going to toast some pine nuts. Again, these are from Trader Joe's. Lots of stuff from Trader Joe's. Okay. Turn this guy on. Toast up some pine nuts. They don't have to be toasted, pignolis, but I like them toasted. And I like to toast them a little bit with salt. So I add just a little bit of salt to the saucepan and I leave it as such. Now, literally, I am of the belief that we can eat really well and we should never spend more than 30 minutes on a meal. Like, unless you're really loving it and you're wanting to do it, you don't have to. You just simply don't have to. So, okay, so now those pine nuts are toasting, and while that's happening, I'm going to cut some shallots. Right? Just so that I can add this. I'm just doing these little things to add a little bit of extra flavor. I've got some garlic and some shallots. Really great for the winter in particular, for cold days, to start to heat the body. Just taking the skin off the shallot. In Ayurveda, we don't do a lot of onions, garlic, shallots, because they're considered to be very passionate, heating. And if we look at what's, and we also don't do alcohol, which you look at the world and see how hot-headed we are, it makes perfect sense. But I think there's value in it as well. I did years and years without any of it. I was eating very sattvic, as we say in the yogic tradition. But I think there's moderation in everything. That's what I'm going to say. There's just moderation in everything. And there's a time and a place and there's a season. So, got my garlic. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Some of you know this secret. I have a stone here that actually came from the ocean in Mexico when I was leading a retreat there. And I call this my garlic stone. It's just a flat stone. And this stone is lovely. I took it from the ocean. I boiled it with vinegar and water, and then I boiled it with just water. I love to use it to press garlic. So I take my head of garlic and I just press it flat. And then I let this stone just hold that oil. There's no reason that has to be cleaned. It's actually an antiseptic in and of itself. Now I'm gonna come over here. I'm using a ceramic skillet and silicone spatula. So in an Ayurvedic kitchen, and we talk about this, we have a Cleanse Your Kitchen program within Pilgrim, where we focus our attention on how we really have a healthy kitchen as well. So that we use a lot of glass and a lot of wood and a lot of cast iron. Stay away from aluminum, stay away from Teflon, stay away from plastic. Even my cutting board is silicone, right? This helps us. So I have this guy. Back over here. Come back over here, and I'm just going to let these shallots, I'm just going to cut them in little rings. So my garlic and my shallot is just, I could do onion. I like the sort of subtle flavor of shallot, of the onion family, and that's it there. Okay, and then I'm going to take some rosemary. So I have fresh sprigs of rosemary here. And I'm just going to take it and mince that. Just like this. Maybe not too much. When it's fresh, it's really got some kick to it. So I'm just going to do about a teaspoon, no, less than a teaspoon, about a half a teaspoon. That's there. All right, we are sauteing our tofu and dry roasting with salt, some of my pine nuts. Just watch how these guys are going. Just a little bit. And that tofu go. Up on it. Okay, so what we're going to end up doing here is I'm going to saute these mushrooms, right? I have some mushrooms, sliced mushrooms, with the shallots, with the garlic, and with a little bit of rosemary. And then I have, these are from Trader Joe, again, super simple. This is a can of fire-roasted, organic fire-roasted tomatoes, and I add some additional organic tomatoes to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a sweet little boat that's going to have some of the tomato, the mushrooms, the shallots, and garlic and rosemary, and it's going to go on top of that. Now you could have this, I'll say, you could do all of this. You could do all of this with a chicken breast if you do that. You can do it with tofu, which is what I'm doing with the sprouted tofu. It's really up to you. There's lots of different ways you can do this if you're not vegetarian or vegan, but you absolutely can do it vegan as well. Okay. Let's see what we got going here. And that tofu keep going. Roasting my pine nuts. Now while that's happening, I'm going to heat up some water. And I'm going to make a drink that is a favorite of mine, a beverage that is an all-time favorite of mine. And this particular beverage is something that we often drink in Mexico, and we drink it fresh because you can buy lemongrass in Mexico on the street for very inexpensive. And we use it in our sweat lodge. We use it as what I'll call suero, which is like an Ayurvedic Gatorade, if you will, where there's a little bit of lime, a little bit of lemongrass, a little bit of piloncillo or raw sugar, and salt. And together, that combination is very hydrating for the body. Sueros are more, that's a Spanish word, but they are more, electrolyte drinks are more hydrating than just pure water. So just something to think about. Okay, so we're heating that up. Sauteing my tofu, just little cubes. All right, now my nuts are almost done. This is like the end of it, guys. I wouldn't even have to use the oven, but I am using the oven. Okay, give that just a minute. That's doing great there. And then the other thing that we're going to do with this tofu, I'm going to add in now, is I have a combination of herbs. Here I have cilantro seed, or coriander, if you will, cumin, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of mustard seed, brown mustard seed, and a tiny bit of ginger. Now, even though, and actually I'm going to put the ginger in yet, even though the ginger is in powder form, right, if stuff is brown, it's okay. You can refresh or freshen up the life of an herb by grinding it. So even your already brown seasonings, and so here we are, just this sort of really beautiful blend of seeds. I'm going to add this to the tofu. You can see, let me show you this. You can see there's the tofu, right? I got the tofu right there, and there are the seasonings. Starting to brown just a bit. I'll get these guys out of here. So now my pine nuts have completely, these always smell like fish to me. That's such a weird thing. I don't know why they smell like fish to me, but they do. So I'm going to put that in here. And now, bring this back over. Some spices. Tofu. Almost done. Again, that could be little chicken cubes. Now I'm going to do my shallots and my garlic and my rosemary. All this is in the pan. Such. And I'm going to add a little bit more of that vinaigrette. I could just use olive oil if I wanted. But I'm just going to do this as such. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. Great. And then I'm going to add my mushrooms. If you're not a mushroom eater, that's totally fine. You don't need to put mushrooms in. They just have a lot of health benefit. They're not often used in Ayurveda, but again, we're flexible. Flexible. So, sauteing that up. Perfect. Then I'm going to take the tofu off. Put the tofu in a little bowl. Wow. So again, this could be little chunks of chicken. You could do a whitefish, a soft, flaky whitefish if you wanted. This is a favorite of mine, just like that. And so all I'm going to do here is take my tomatoes now. And heat up my tomato sauce. I'm going to go ahead and drop these little polentas into the oven to start to warm them. You can do it as such, or you literally can heat the whole thing at once and leave it in for a little bit longer. That's up to you. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to cut a few tomatoes, just a handful of them, because I really like really chunky sauces. In Mexico. I live in Mexico most of the time. Right? I come here because my family's here in St. Paul. I'm here in this location. I'm on the 42nd floor It's a really beautiful place where I do private work, one-on-one with individuals, or people want to come, and if you've been through a really challenging time in your life and you just want to come and do some deep work, one-on-one, and you're not really up for spending a lot of time with other people, that's an option. I'm going to be focusing on major life transitions as well as cancer, coming through the other side of cancer. So I'm just taking a little bit of this tomato and dropping it in. And then I'm going to add the roasted tomatoes. All right, there it is. Okay, so now let's do this. Super simple, heating it up, ready to go. Let me grab. This is like real life in the kitchen. This is not a cooking class, is it? This is just life. This is life happening. Stepping on shallots on the floor and all of it. So we're just going to do this here like this. And I'm going to do this on a plate. Actually, I'm going to plate this up as such. I'll just do one for now. I'm going to get my mom. She's 89. I'm going to bring her over and we're going to share some food together later in the day. So I'll share with her this particular meal. Here's what we're going to do. So for right now, I'm going to pull out the polenta. Bring it over here again. I'll show you how we're going to do this. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is really hot and ready. So I'm going to take my sauce, which is this glorious, and if I can show it to you, it's just the red roasted tomatoes with some additional tomatoes. I'm just going to put scoop by scoop on top of this, just like this, just a zoop, like that. A little bit on each one. Fill the little boat, right? Fill the little boat. Fill the little boat. Fill the little boat. As such. Right? There it is. That's how those go. And then I'm going to take these shallots and mushrooms and onions, spices and garlic. And that's all going to be right there. Wow, this is beautiful, you guys. This is a full meal, right? The tofu makes it a complete protein, and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to stick this back in the oven just to let it heat while I make our water, and then I'll bring it out and plate it up. So you can see what we got. What are we, 10 minutes into this now? Okay. So here's what I have. I have lemongrass. This is dried lemongrass. I got this on Amazon, and I got it in a big paper bag from the Tao of Tea, and it's just organic lemongrass. So this is a heat-proof glass container. So what I'm going to do here is take this tea filter, set it on the inside. You could use a teapot. You can use a little fabric bag. You can strain it. You can just put it right in the water if you want to as well. And that's another way to make tea and then strain it off. I'm just going to take a big spoon. Actually, I'm going to do 2 spoons. And then from that, now I can sweeten this if I want to. I love the flavor of lemongrass tea all by itself, so I don't find that there's any need to sweeten it, but you might think differently. I've already heated and boiled this water, and all I'm going to do, look at that. Oof. So it's really important that your vessel is break-proof, shatter-proof. It can handle heat, it's heat resistant, and there's that. So I can ice this, right? I can just close this up and let this sit. I can let it sit as long as I'd like. I can add a little bit of maple syrup, right, whatever moves me. Look at the beautiful color of that. Do you see that? See that beautiful color? It's just like this golden yellow. And the smell of lemongrass tea, wow, it's hard to explain, but it is a beautiful, beautiful option. Okay, so we are going to presume that these are heated well enough. Generally, it takes about 10 minutes when your ingredients are hot already. So my sauce was already hot, my tofu is already hot, everything's hot, so should be good. Now what I'm going to do to plate this up, let me move my tea aside, I'm going to take some of these microgreens, simply, and I'm just going to go ahead and take the arugula and the microgreens right there and place them on my plate. Again, my vinaigrette, my favorite vinaigrette. I use this as I saute with this. Now what I did is I took a Trader Joe's balsamic vinegar bottle and I actually used that to mix it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit, not too much. Comes out real slow, so it's a little option for my greens. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my glorious polenta out of the oven. Oh yeah, it is hot, hot, hot. Perfect. All right, let me move these guys over here. Obviously not very skilled here. Okay, so now I'm going to scoop this guy. I'm going to scoop up 2 of these per plate, right? So I'm just going to put 1, and look at this. 2, this is going to be my lunch and my dinner today. And then I'm just going to take some of those mushrooms, more of that tomato sauce. Look at that. I can make it saucier if I want more of a, like a sauce to it, I can totally do that. Right, there's my garlic and my onion, my shallot. You have no idea how beautiful this is. And then tofu. So again, this could be chicken if you wanted. And I just love how glorious that is. Look at that. I mean, people, there's no way to make you happier than this. And then the pine nuts. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to show you this. And I am just so sure that you are going to be impressed. I wish you were here to taste it. We're going to taste it together. I'm going to just put a little more sauce on this. Look at that. I am over the top excited about this. Let me turn that off. Look at this. Look at this, people. I got to come around this way. You got to see this. Do you see how beautiful this is? Look at that. Look how gorgeous that is. So you have these 2 little polenta boats. You have your mixed greens, your tofu. Look at how beautiful those little cubes of tofu are. They're like perfectly browned. There it is. A little Instagram action over here. Little zoom action here. This is how I love it. So I'm just going to check. Do you have any questions? Let me see if there's any questions. Anybody at all? Let's see. Any questions? Any questions over here, beloveds? Chat. Someday maybe technology will give us smell-o-vision. Exactly. Exactly. All right, any questions? So there's that. So that is what I'm going to offer up for me for my lunch. And now I'm also going to go ahead. That's long enough for me, I think. I'm steep to that long enough. And this I'll drink as a hot tea at the moment. Just let that set there. Pull out a tea mug. I can ice this if I wanted. Right? And then this is an awesome little thing. I could have used a teapot because how the heck else am I gonna get that to, there it is. All right. So there it is, sweet ones. Got my teacup. with my lemongrass tea. I have this amazing vegan spread that is, quite frankly, it is 99% vegetable, right? And it's all right here for us. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I want to remind you that you can come join us for Pilgrim. Pilgrim registration is open and will continue to be open until we start on the 23rd. So we walk on the 23rd. I would love to have you come. I would love to have you be with us. We walk for 108 days. There's a little bit of yoga. There's a little bit of meditation. There's a little bit of movement. There's all these beautiful pieces. So there it is. So I love you all and wish you the best and look so forward to when we can do this again. Check your calendars. Make sure you're on my email list, brit@britbsteele.com. You can sign up for anything, get anything free, and we'll keep you posted on when things come. So big love to you. Thank you so very much for being here with us. And I hope to see you in Pilgrim really soon. Big love to you. Bye for now.